20% of the people in any city were performing just Agnihotra alone, that whole city would become a paradise. Agnihotra and Homa Fires basically empowers every single technique, every method where human beings are using to help themselves serve the planet, serve humanity, serve all living beings, and it empowers them to do that work and empowers the effects of those techniques. Do it, add it to what you're doing, and you're helping every person around you and every living being around you.
Everybody, today we have something special to share with everybody. As you can see, even my welcome screen is very different from the previous one. This is actually one of the beautiful sites from where Dr. Abel is now, right? Really pretty place. It's in Holland. So later Dr. Abel will be sharing, because today we have big topics to cover, which is ecological issues, which is huge. It's about the air that we breathe and the water that we drink, and it's about environmental. And I believe this is one of the heaven on the earth that where Dr. Abel is now. So we are very, very lucky when we're talking about this topic, right? Then Dr. Abel just said, hey, I'm in this place, then why not we share from here? So today we have a lot of live testimony. It's no longer look at video anymore. Okay. Dr. Lennie?
Yes, hi.
So we got quite a lot of people seems like very interested about learning.
Does he have a microphone? Does he have a microphone?
Okay, so this is the place, okay, there where Dr. Abel and our special guests, our guest speakers, we have if you do have any questions, feel free to ask, okay? Because today it's very different. Topics will be different. The way of sharing is different. It's all live, okay? Okay. This is our beautiful place. This is another eco village. I think this is another heaven. So we are looking at this. Let me introduce you first, as usual. PI is an NGO based in Malaysia. So we promote anything that bring good vibes to people, to humankind around us. So we got in touch with Dr. Abel, Prof. Abel, since I think 3 years ago through Dr. Alan, where we invited them for a talk. So, and then when we started, after I think 1 year, then we started this project for almost coming to 1.5 years already. So that is what I-Inspire doing. We just help people to be better, be inspired. Okay, so this is our topic for today. And today, actually, we have few guests. So, and we are not going to share any like video testimonial. So later, let's say you have any live questions that you want to ask, please feel free to type your questions, or you raise your hand, then we will take in the question in sequence. Otherwise, you can type your question in the chat box there, and then we will take the question one by one. Most of the photos that you will be seeing in like what we shared here is all from Holland. Beautiful photos from the Eco Village. So without further ado, let me invite our regular guest speakers, Dr. Lennie Soo. Actually, what I-Inspire, everyone in I-Inspire was taught actually about Agnihotra by Dr. Lennie. So, and she and Dr. Alan, who actually supplied us a lot of cow dung. And from my understanding, Dr. Alan was the first one who had actually Homa farm in Malaysia. So maybe Dr. Lennie, you can begin with how you know about this, and then maybe we can invite Dr. Alan to share about the Homa farming experience, and also maybe in Malaysia we do have different cultures and then the issues that we might be facing. What actually Dato faced like before this, before COVID, because he started very long. Because two of you are quite pioneer in terms of Agnihotra practicing. So Dr. Lennie, let me pass on to Dr. Lennie, our guest speaker for today, and then we'll invite another guest speaker, which is Dr. Alan. He is now based in Malaysia, otherwise most of the time he's in Australia. Okay, so I stop the slide sharing now.
Thank you very much, Hooi Lin, for that wonderful introduction. And I would like to thank all our guest speakers for being here today. Mr. Pabati, Rosen Bisbers, of course, our Dr. Alan, and lastly, but most importantly, Professor Abel, which I really am thankful for them for connecting us to the other Homa therapy practitioners globally. In Malaysia, I feel that Homa therapy can create a lot of differences in terms of the preservation of our food, of our ability to produce food. Malaysia used to be one of a very important agricultural country in this region, but because of the topsoil being eroded at a very fast pace, we have actually lost our land in terms of food production, and now most of our food is imported. So I think it's important for us here in Southeast Asia to look at reversing this, and the technology that we can get from Poland, the technology that we can get from Europe, from South America, this particular group of people that we have now that is promoting Agnihotra, I feel that we are in the forefront of technology. We are in the forefront of technology because people have not actually understand or they have been prejudiced against Homa therapy, and hopefully now that we shed some testimonial and evidence-based light on this very simple but very effective practice, we are hoping that more people in Asia will be able to adopt it. And of course, I know that all of us are very busy, and doing Agnihotra at dawn and at dusk is not easy for any of us. I, for one, does not like to wake up in the morning, so but I can understand the importance of this, especially if you are running a business. You need to be able to practice this on a regular basis. But talking about business and talking about farming, I'm not a farmer, although I have great respect for farmers. And we need to use Homa therapy to find a way to generate financial financial independence for farmers. A lot of farmers are struggling globally, and I hope that with proper sharing of techniques, we all can we can help farmers to prosper globally. And it is important for farmers to prosper globally, because if we don't, then we are going to be running out of food very soon. So on that note, I now pass it back to our beautiful, wonderful, very cheerful host, Hooi Lin, and Hooi Lin will introduce to you our next speaker. Thank you, Hooi Lin.
Thank you, Dr. Lennie. Okay, the next one, our next guest is I think most of us in Malaysia, we know about him. Although most of the time he spends time in Australia now. He's actually none other than Dr. Alan Yong. He was the one actually that when we invited him to taught us, to share with us about Homa therapy, because I think he was the one that very pioneer in Malaysia, run all around the world. He went here, went there, and learned about from many gurus around the world. And then we invited him to share with us how he started the farm. And we used to, when we think about cow dung, we only thought about Dato. And then he was the first one who actually have really put in his effort and time, brought even the cow from India, and then make sure that the worker looking after the cows. And then even he left to Australia, and he still worried about the cow. This is how impressive. He really looked after the whole thing. So what a coincidence when I talked to him, Dato, maybe you can share. I mean, we didn't really have big supporters yet in Malaysia. There's a reason why we are still doing a lot of awareness thinking, and we are trying to talk to some farm owners. But I believe Dato has a lot of insight because you went through the whole process from setting up, getting the cows, and then doing the whole thing, even producing the cow dung and all this. Maybe Dato, you can share with us maybe how many years already, and then you started the farm in what, and then how the process, and then what happened, and then what your worries, your joys and pains. Okay, Dato, the time is up.
Thank you, Dr. Abel. Namaste. Actually, it's very interesting for this Agnihotra and Homa farming in Malaysia. So I just cut the matter short. I learned this Agnihotra from Lee and Fritz Riemer in Hunter Valley in Sydney, in Hunter Valley. From Sydney, I think about 1 hour. And I was so inspired about the farm. Then later, this couple, wonderful couple, introduced me to go to Maheshwar, and where I met Dr. Abel and Alita, even Derek and Parvati, that they were doing this yearly. I think they have this big fire, and I was so amazed seeing all this. Then I said, why don't I with and they also showed me how they do this farming, in Maheshwar. Then I came back, and also I contacted Dr. Abel, and Dr. Abel, very nice of him to come to Malaysia, come to my farm, and he taught my workers how to prepare, how to make cow dungs, and also train our workers to do yoga also early in the morning. And I was so amazed. Then later I got Fritz Riemer to come to do the resonant point. You need to have the 4 resonant points in the farm. So together with brother So, so we help. Then they managed to identify the area. So we built place so that the resonant point be able to catch the vibration each time we do Agnihotra. So that energy will start to expand, and that energy will purify everything in the farm, and later you spread out about 500 what they call meters around the area. It was quite a wonderful thing, and but it doesn't what they call catch up, because at that time the produce that we have no marketing skill, nothing, and nobody appreciate what is organic, although our fruits is the best and very sweet. And what they call we cannot make ends meet, put it that way. So I think it's because I'm just into it. I was not a farmer. I was not a marketing man. That's why this it warrants you to have all these skills, so that you can build up this farm. So it was very sad thing, but anyway, there is a start in Malaysia. So we have this Homa farming with the helps of all the gurus, like Dr. Abel, Alita, and also even Dr. Purusatam from Shipuri also came to my farm. And it's quite wonderful that you can see that the the vegetables, everything is also so fresh and it's really very nourishing. And I can find that if you can do, you can start something small, then I think you will get it there. So it was short-lived, and so sorry to hear that, but I still kept the cows. Then now I have already shifted my cows to another area, but it's called Vision Eco Farm. So they fed them with all the organic grass and vegetables. So I'm very happy for that. So I should say that I'm very grateful to Dr. Abel, and every time we will call and to ask for more questions, he was very gracious. He was very nice of him to reply to me each time when I need any help. And before that, I even went to Topawan where I met Bruce Johnson, and they conducted a course for us. I brought a few of us to of these farmers to visit him, and we attended, I think, 2 days course in his farm. Very wonderful. You can see amazing. They are doing the fire from morning to evening, the Triambakam, besides the Agnihotra. So that area is a very good example. If you have the opportunity, go to Topawan, and you can see so many things happening. And I should say that it's really wonderful to be with the fire. You can see many things happening. So with this, I can say that thank you very much. And because now I've retired, so I've moved to Australia, so I can't do much. Only thing is I still practice Agnihotra when I'm in Australia. So keep the fire going.
Thank you so much, Dato. Thank you so much, Dato. Because of your farm, that's how we can continue the practice, and because of your cows, and we still continue to get the cow dung supply, because otherwise everybody keep on asking, where can I get the pot and also the dung? Until today we still look for you. So actually what you started actually didn't go to waste. We are still looking for you because of your farm. It actually is like the seed, it actually started to grow. Thank you very much, Dato. Okay, now without further ado, let me invite our key person of the day, because of him, then we got the chance to enjoy through our screen the good vibes in Poland. It's a truly beautiful place. Dr. Abel, maybe you can share with us what a coincidence that you can, when we're talking about this topic, such a beautiful place.
Om Sri family. Hello, family. It's great honor to be with you again and again. It's just wonderful. And Brother Alan our heart jumps faster and faster when we listen to him. We're very fortunate. We are in Brugwarania in Holland, and we are in energy center that helps to purify the atmosphere in this area and eventually in whole Europe. I think details you'll know later, but more important, some information I might give. I think we should give the microphone now to Mr. Parvati, Mrs. Parvati, and Jarek. They are the key in Europe for Homa Therapy. And we are honored and blessed to be with them. And knowing that we were going to be here at this time, I asked them to please share the experience, because there is a living community, Homa living community here. And those experiences, they cannot be improvised, they cannot find in the books. And remember, I usually ask you to please don't call me doctor, nobody. I'm just a servant. Don't call me, titles are nothing. So what is important here is the fires, the Agnihotra, and each one of you have also this beautiful fire in your heart. So I don't want to say anymore. You'll see on the gallery, you'll see, I think some in the gallery you will see many people today. They are connecting also from Guarania. So I'll pass the microphone to Parvatik and Jari. This you're on. You're there now. The maze.
Yeah. Thank you so much for agreeing to Dr. Abel. Hi, you're on the screen of everybody. I spotlighted you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And very nice to meet you all.
Homa Therapy Foundation.
Yeah, we started this place to give you a short chronology. First, we set up a foundation in Poland, the Homa Therapy Foundation. And then with the foundation, we managed to get the money to buy this wonderful place near the mountains, the Tatra Mountains in the south of Poland, surrounded by forest, etc., and not far from the ancient capital city of Krakow. So easy enough for people to get here, foreign people, international people, etc. And in the beginning, of course, we had no chance of growing anything because the soil here was this is not a farming area. This is a building area with lots of hills and lots of pine forests. And so the soil is extremely clay, extremely rocky. And even if you want to dig or plow, you can only go as with a plow, you can, what, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters a plow?
Maybe 10 centimeters maximum, but not
before you hit rocks and what have you. So impossible for real farming. So what we had to do in the beginning was, of course, absolutely first thing we did was Agnihotra and Triambakam. As we put a Triambakam hut right in the middle of the property, right in the center, and did the resonance points
in front of the garden. Yeah.
And then we put one in front of the garden, right in the garden. This resonance point, as Alan mentioned, Lee and Fritz are very familiar with that. They can set that up for anybody in Malaysia.
At Om Shri Dam in Australia.
Lee and Fritz from Om Shri Dam, Australia. They have the same thing going there in Australia. So that was the first thing that we did, because I think that when you have land that is not capable of farming, or land that has been destroyed by monoculture agriculture with chemicals and other poisons, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you do at least regular Agnihotra and preferably at least 1 hour Triambakam before you even start doing anything else. Because what the fires do, as you probably well know, is they completely transform the atmosphere. And thanks to the transformation and the regeneration and the healing and energizing of the atmosphere, everything that lives in that area becomes happy. The trees, the plants, the soil, the worms, and also you attract, like we have attracted, birds and insects and animals that help you in your gardening. Like, for example, frogs that live in the valley and don't live up in the hills where we are. Yeah. They've come here and they've decided to live up here, which we didn't know until a biology professor from the University of Wrocław came and told us that this is very unusual, that, frogs living in the valley normally are living up in such a high altitude. And also dragonflies, etc., ladybirds, and all kinds of birds. I must say that you know, we are not professional farmers or gardeners. We, you know, we started off as amateurs. Of course, Rory here behind me, I don't know if you can see him, and Karen have a lot more experience with
Rory Marr, who lives here in Echo Village, Brugoranya, and Karen Heschel, who did brilliant work with farmers in India.
And also had experience in farming in Austria. She'll be able to explain all that. So when Parvati and I started, we started from you know, in a very amateur way, and basically added some compost material to the soil, and of course did regular Agnihotra, lots of as much Trambakam as possible. And after a few years, when did you come, Rory? You came after about a year or something?
In 2000.
Yeah, 2000. So after a few years, Rory arrived, and he started learning. You weren't a farmer before you came here, were you?
No.
No. Well, Rory was also.
My father was, but then you know.
Yeah. So Rory was also learning, and he's learned a lot in the time he's been here. But what I wanted to say was that in the year 2003, we took our soil to be analyzed by the agricultural laboratory in the big city of Krakow, which is a free government program that you can have your farming soil analyzed. And they told us that no way can we do farming in the area that we live unless we supply the soil with at least 3 tons, if not regularly, of lime or dolomite, lots of phosphorus, lots of nitrogen, and lots of what else was it? Potassium. And when we told them that we're already growing vegetables, we already have tomatoes and greens and salads and all this and all these other things, they said that's not possible. No, it's not possible. That's not a farming area. You can't do that. So
nothing will grow.
Well, nothing in the sense of vegetables.
Yeah,
of course. Because the soil is extremely acidic due to the pine forest. So thanks to, of course, you know, you have to add compost, absolutely, but we never added much lime. We put a little bit of lime, not 3 tons or 5 tons or whatever, just a few, you know, bags that we could, you know, manage, and everything was growing beautifully. This is all the incredible, miraculous result of doing, you know, the fires, the homas, Agnihotra and Trambakam, and of course, as more people decided to live here, Rory and then Asha, his wife, and then so on and so forth. Kind of long story short, then we had more possibility of performing Trambakam for longer periods, because in the beginning it was just, you know, maximum like an hour, and then it got longer and longer, and now we're performing 5 hours of Trambakam a day.
Sure, it was not
plus 24 hours of new moon in the new moon period and the full moon period, Trambakam Homa, and of course Vairuti Homas, and of course a few other Yajnyas that we perform, as well as, of course, regularly, absolutely, Agnihotra regularly, sunrise and sunset from the very beginning. So all of that has completely changed the atmosphere, and people say here who come here that the atmosphere here is completely different than anywhere else in the country they have been. They feel like they're coming into some kind of a zone where, you know, it's just, that's energized, and it starts, you know, that lots of people have had all kinds of different experiences here that have come here just to rest, meditate, learn the fires, etc., etc. Okay, so maybe if anybody has questions on how to use Agnihotra, the fires, whatever, or any questions with how to take care of cows, or how to take care of bees, or how to take care of any kind of farm animals, Rory's your man. Rory, he has loads of experience in that area. And then Karen is the person to ask about, you know, she had an amazing experience in Austria. You should maybe tell them the experience you had in Austria on your farm during the Chernobyl radioactive explosion that happened in when was that? It happened in Ukraine.
1986 it was.
1986, and everywhere radioactivity. So you should tell that story.
I can tell the story.
Karen will tell. It's amazing. It shows the amazing power of Agnihotra
I can't.
and Homa Therapy farming.
I can't.
That's okay.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Karin Heschel from Austria, and what Jarek just said, I think, was one of the most profound experiences with Homa Therapy, which I had at the beginning when I started going more into the fires. At this time, we had a farm in Austria, which was about 8.5 hectares. And when the Chernobyl accident was happening in 1986, nobody was actually allowed to go outside or touch the soil. And at this time, the government from Austria made also soil samples and samples from the milk and samples from the fodder what the cows were eating from all the farmers. And they came every week to collect these samples. And the third time, when they came to our place, they said, we don't know what you are doing on your farm, but we cannot find any higher radiation in the soil, in the fodder, in the milk. So what are you doing? And so we were also surprised that we had such a result. And so we told them what we did. We did Agnihotra 4 hours of Trampakam daily, and also 24 hours at full moon and new moon. We were only 3 people, but somehow it worked out. And but once we told them what we are doing and showed them the pyramid, they said, thank you, but we can't believe this. And it was strange to us because they had the result. Week by week, they got the same result. But they did not go further into the topic of Homa Therapy and how it came about. Yeah.
But you were allowed to drink your milk and everything.
Well, of course, we drank our milk, but we were not allowed for some time to deliver milk. Even it was not contaminated, but it was a general rule for all of Austria. So, yeah. Yes, I wanted to share this with you because this is like radiation is becoming a bigger problem, I think, in the world. And I can only say the fires really work for this. Okay, thank you. maybe
Thanks, Karen. That's great.
Wants to say something.
Rory.
Hello, I'm Rory, Rory Ma. I've been living here at Yajnya village for 24 years. I came here a very green and not really knowing anything about farming and gardening, although I did have a theoretical interest. And so I learned everything that I know I've learned here over the time. And I've been in this time and still now been responsible for the cows that we have. We have some beautiful cows. For the bees as well, I'm a beekeeper, and we keep hives here where honeybees, and also the garden and with herbs as well, medicinal herbs.
And the ducks.
And the ducks, which we use to control slugs in the garden as well. So I have quite a sort of a broad sort of range of experiences here. One of the best things is probably the effect of bees, the effect of Agnihotra and Homa atmosphere on the bees. Of course, bees are suffering a lot in the world. I don't know about in Asia and Malaysia, But here in Europe, there's a lot of disease. And of course, because a lot of farmers, even in Poland, when I first came, there's a lot of organic farming still. But now there's a lot of course, chemical, what they call conventional farming. And the bees are also suffering because they visit the flowers which have been sprayed. So they come back weakened in many apiaries, and beekeepers have problems with the bees getting weakened, and immune systems get weakened, and the hives collapse. We find in a Homa atmosphere, the bees families are very strong. They survive much easier than other bees, no? And of course, they produce amazing honey, which is very medicinal. Bees are often thought of as a barometer of how the ecology is doing, how the environment is, the health of the environment. So the bees are healthy and well, then the health of the environment as well. So for me, the health of the bees shows that the health of the environment is very good within the Homa atmosphere, what we've created here. Yeah. And then just simple things. I mean, it's what I love about Agnihotra and Homa Therapy when you apply it to farming is that it's very practical, very practical. So if you save your own seeds, it's incredible the high germination rates we have from our own seeds. And saving your own seed is very important now, just because there's so many big agrochemical companies and big seed businesses that are selling their patented seeds, or reducing the biodiversity of how many seeds there are. And we have to save these seeds that farmers have been using for thousands of years or hundreds of years. And to have high germination rate means that you have better crops, better success. You save your seed, you can sell those seeds, and then you'll be able to become more self-sufficient than relying on big businesses. And I've noticed germination rates of 95% up to 98%, 99%. It's quite incredible. Yeah. I could go on. I don't know how much you want to know, but there you go.
Yeah, if anybody has questions, maybe they could somehow get the questions into chat, and then they can be answered, questions on a specific subject. And one thing I would also like to add is that this is not just a small Homa farm. It's also blossomed into a eco village, which we call Brugorania Eco Village. And now there's about 20 building lots. Not all of them yet have, that means 20 people have already bought, because this is an area where it's easy to buy a small plot of land. There's no restriction from the government on that. You don't have to be a farmer or anything. Like in some parts of Poland, or in some or in parts of Europe, where you can't do that, you have to buy a huge farm. Here you can buy small plots of land and put a small house or a large house, whatever you want. And so this has blossomed into an eco village because of that, and because of, you know, the fires have attracted people like Rory and Karen and so on to come here and buy some land here. And Rory has put up a ecological straw bale house for his family, and other people have put up ecological houses as well.
And one yurt.
And a yurt. There's a Czech-Slovakian family living in a Mongolian yurt, and they're building a straw bale ecological house as well. So we're trying to be as ecological as we possibly can. And then, of course, self-sufficiency or sovereignty in everything is not that easy here, because the land cannot produce enough food to feed everybody. But we're thinking of, you know, how to solve that problem with greenhouses and stuff like that. That's depending on finances. So, but mostly what we're concentrating on, as far as the public is concerned, apart from our own individual lives, because everybody has their own individual lives that they're concerned, you know, with their own businesses, their own families, etc. Apart from that, we also are building a center of light, which will be an educational center to teach people all these new methods, etc., etc. So that's in the process. Hopefully it'll get finished soon.
And what I recommend anywhere people live is to start Homa communities, especially Homa farm communities, but even in an urban setting, to start a community where you can maintain,
Korea, is it?
excuse me, where you can maintain the fires. And I think here, the wonderful thing about this is an international Homa community, Homa Eco Village. So there's many different languages spoken here and very different cultures and different countries represented. And I think when you're doing Homa farming and gardening and Agnihotra, you're attuning your human nature with Mother Nature. So Agnihotra has this profound effect on this self as well as nature. And it's not just focus on ecology, it's a place where spirituality meets ecology, which I think, you know, everything to do with Homa Therapy has a spiritual and ecological aspect. It's not just linear, it's not just agricultural or ecological, it's more of a holistic science, and very effective for it's very effective for self-development as well as development of the land and protection of resources and living in harmony with nature. I think that's very important, but we have to live in harmony with human nature in order to attune ourselves with Mother Nature.
We have two questions here. The first question was addressed to the radiation. The question asked was that what was the duration between the radiation leak and the soil test results? Means that basically the audience would like to know how long it took, between the leakage until the soil test was done. Do you have any idea on that? Because it's quite an impressive result.
The time for the
we started Homa farming 1 year before that Chernobyl accident was happening, and the result, as I said, the government there was no higher radiation. It was just the normal radiation which we have every day. And the other interesting thing which I can mention here, which happened after 1 year, is that we applied for organic certification, which it takes normally 3 years, what the scientists tell us, to get the poison out of the soil. But the certifiers said after 1 year, actually they could have given us the certificate, but because it was not the rule of Austrian government, they could not do it. So the soil improves very fast because of the Homa atmosphere. The nutritions come, I think, from the atmosphere, from the fires. If that answers your question. So
it's not 1 year before the incident happened or this happened.
Sorry, we couldn't hear that.
Just now was explained that it's that 1 year before the incident happened, the Homa therapy already started to be carried out. And then after it happened, and then they come and test, they found out there was no radiations impact on the soil completely. So it somehow is like protecting, it's like something like protecting the soil, the area. Yeah. Dr. Lennie, that was a question, right? Yeah, I think, and then also she said, mentioned that the soil did not have so much topsoil. Then, how your team regenerate the topsoil? Like Dr. Lennie shared, right, in Malaysian, our Malaysian farmer having one problem is that the topsoil, once they plant one type of, like, for example, vegetables, right, and then the topsoil is like they are losing the nutrients on the topsoil. How you all handle the topsoil issues in your eco village?
What do we do with the topsoil in the eco village?
How do we maintain it? Because
How do we maintain it? Can you answer that, Rory?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you start doing Agnihotra regularly and Homa Therapy and doing the fires and putting nutrition into the atmosphere, you start then also, of course, Agnihotra gets rid of pollution. So if you've been using agrochemicals, so agro-fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, insecticides on your land, and destroying the live bacteria and the earthworms in that soil, then by just doing Agnihotra and stopping using all those agrochemicals, then the soil will start coming back into balance. The bacteria will become alive. Earthworms will come back into the soil. And then there are other means. And then, of course, you use compost. It depends how big the farm is. Of course, we use manure. You can use liquid fertilizers. There are preparations that are part of Homa farming, like biosol, which is a liquid fertilizer that's made in anaerobic containers. That can be sprayed on the soil, and that will get the bacterial life going again. The protozoas and all the fungi, or the fungi mesh will start growing as well. And then of course you use things like green manures. You put green manures and you cut the green manure and allow that to break down into the soil. You could plow that into the soil. And there's ways of start building up every year, start building up that soil again and bringing it back to life. And Karen, is there anything to add to that?
Is to maintain the good bacteria and the fungi. It's the microbes that is the maintaining the microbes. It's the key.
Yeah, and then of course not leaving the soil bare. I mean, you know, if you're going to plant a crop and harvest it, then plant a green manure onto that soil so it's never bare, because then a bare soil with nothing growing will just can become eroded with heavy rains, with winds, and it becomes dry and things like that.
They're also asking, what do you grow on the land?
What do we grow on the land?
Well, here we have mainly a large vegetable garden and herbs as well. So we're growing things from zucchini, courgette, corn, lettuce, kale, broccoli, tomatoes in the greenhouse, some peppers, hot peppers, cucumbers. So quite a wide variety of vegetables that usually farmers don't grow in this area. Normally they grow potatoes and cabbages. In this area that we are here.
They have a very difficult time growing tomatoes in this area, even in a greenhouse. And our tomatoes are the best I've ever had in the world. Cocktail tomatoes and big tomatoes, they're amazing.
Yeah. They have a difficult time because of disease. Here, very quickly the plants become diseased with blight, and the leaves turn black, brown and black. And
even with potatoes, they have difficulty.
And with potatoes, it's the same family.
But not here.
Actually, we have an interesting story from 2 years ago where, you know, we have long winters here. And we start usually the tomatoes indoors. And I made a mistake of leaving them uncovered once when a frost came. And the frost killed our seedlings. So I got these tomato plants from a neighbor down the road, who's maybe 6 kilometers away. And he gave me his seedlings. And we brought them back. We were very grateful, very, very thankful for that. We had about 60 seedlings from him. And we planted them, we grew them. They gave tomatoes, wonderful tomatoes. Everything was healthy and good. And then we took those tomatoes as a gift. We collected a whole lot of tomatoes and took them to him as a gift to say, thank you for giving us those seedlings. And he said, what? He said, we didn't get any tomatoes from our plants this year. So even though they were his tomatoes, and he grew them from probably using, you know, not organic means, we were still able to produce healthy and give lots of fruit, no? Tomatoes.
And his did not produce that year.
Yeah.
Barbara, dear, I have a question to the lady about Malaysia. I have a question because you said topsoil. In Malaysia, I think you have also monsoon, no? Like in India?
Yeah, we have monsoon.
Yes. So is that a problem for the topsoil?
In Malaysia, I think in terms of the topsoil, it's because we cut down. Our forests here are the oldest in the world. Our forest is older than the Amazon forest. And what has happened over the recent years, I mean, over the last 20 years, and our forest is at millions and millions of years old, right? And so what has happened over the last couple of years is that, not the last couple, but a few past decade or so since independence, is that, wow, that's is that a lot of the forests have been destroyed and to be replaced by rubber plantation and palm oil plantation. And the problem with palm oil and rubber plantation is that it destroys the soil because a lot of GMO kind of fertilizers have been used, and it also pollutes the rivers. You know, like the rivers here gets very polluted. Of course, you know, the clay and all that still exists. We also have a lot of statamite and you know, stalactites and all that, very kind of porous kind of soil. But the key thing here is that a huge tract of our well, what we call plantable land has actually been destroyed. And how we can try to reverse it is has been quite controversial here. Like I said, we started off, our country started off as one of the major agriculture country in in Southeast Asia, and then now it has now we have to import a lot of our vegetables, a lot of our food, you know, and even the rice and all that is not it's not like before. So we are not able to grow what we used to grow traditionally, although we are very blessed here because most of the vegetation in these countries are actually edible. Even our grass and our, you know, there's herbs everywhere. Everywhere you look, there is herbs. Everywhere you look, there is medicinal herbs that you can't get anywhere else. And because, you know, our tropical forest is like it's like a lab, and it has got the fastest evolution cycle in the world among all the other jungles and forests, because we are a jungle, and the biomass just keeps rotating and rotating. But even in a country like ours, we are having problem maintaining the topsoil, and this has become a big problem because we're losing a lot of topsoil globally. And if we continue at this rate, I feel that we will not have enough topsoil to grow food in the future. So I see Homa therapy as a way for us to regenerate the soil in order for us to maintain our ability to live on Earth. Because otherwise, if we can't grow food, you know, anarchy is just around the corner. You know, and it's a similar pattern even in India and everywhere else, because people go into huge, you know, farming and all that, and the topsoil is just eroding. And Australia also is one of the problems, you know, that we see in Australia. You know, sometimes in the farm, when the wind blows, you can just see the dust just flying off all over the place. And because there's no topsoil to hold the nutrients down, and all the microorganism and all that is being slowly, the DNA of it, the chromosomes in those organisms, you know, especially those microorganisms, are being destroyed, are being changed, are being modified. And you know, they are like virus, right? The bacteria and all that, they are like virus. They keep evolving to survive, and what they are evolving to, we don't know. But we do know that these small little organism can actually cause a big change in our lives. You know, like it can destroy the dinosaurs. It can you know, it can allow human to perform it. So what is next is very interesting. So hearing from you about the Chernobyl is very interesting today. So this is, I think, something.
Go ahead.
I think it would be great if we could keep in touch with you and exchange further experiences, because right now we are also doing some experiments with glyphosate and how Agnihotra ash has an impact on soil which is polluted by glyphosate. So if we can keep in touch, I think it would be great for future.
Yes, true. Yeah, I think I would, you know, Dr. Allen, you know, your experience of being a farmer here in Malaysia is extremely interesting. Hooi Lin, do we have any more Malaysian farmers in here? Huh?
Shiling.
Oh, yes, we have Shiling in here. Shiling. Shiling's come from a farming family. Her dad has got a farm. They grow the most amazing durian. Do you all know what durian is? You know what durian is? Durian is, they call it the king of fruits, right? And you know, and every time we take the durian, it's just wonderful from the farm. Charlene is now trying to help her brother with the farming. Charlene, would you like to share something? Can you pin her, please, Hooi Lin?
Totally not yet, not yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm still learning.
You're still learning. Okay. All right. What have you been doing in that farm? You've been doing a lot of Homa therapy, right?
Yes. But I have one question is about the farming, about when we planting the veggie, especially in Malaysia, it's very raining season. There's a lot of bacteria, a lot of fungus. So I what question is how to prevent the fungus for, let's say, when you're doing the farming. Is it Agnihotra or the ash? Yeah,
we haven't talked about the ash.
Both.
Yes, it is both.
Yeah.
It is both. It is both the things. It is Agnihotra plus the ash, because after Agnihotra, the healing powers of the fires are locked up in the Agnihotra ash. So you need both the things, the ash and the fire.
And what can you do with the ash? You put it into, etc., etc.
The ash you can, or you can say what you do here with the ash.
Yeah, with the ash. Well, the ash, I mean, there are many ways to use it in the farming and gardening. You can, when you're planting seeds, the ash can be spread on the ground or around the seed. And as the plants are growing, you can also spread ash around the plant. If you need a lot of ash, then you can soak Agnihotra ash in water. I think it's about 200 grams and 300 liters of water. I have to check that. And you leave it there for 24 hours at least, and then you strain it and you spray that water onto the area of the farm, of the land, and that will also help energize the land and the effect of so you can have less Agnihotra ash to be able to spread it over a larger area, because you need a lot of ash for a farm, let's say. And if I had mold and fungus, then I would actually try to use the ash directly and not in water, which also has more humidity and things. I would use directly the ash on the plants and spray it on and spread it on the plants.
Okay.
On the leaves? No.
Yeah, yeah, on the leaves.
Yes,
Yeah,
for
of
the
course.
fungus,
burn them.
Yeah, for the fungus. If I had fungus and mold on plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, Malaysia rains a lot, rain hot and humid. So sometimes it tends to grow fungus, and then the fungus is very difficult. Even with those like anti-fungus plant, herbal plants themselves, they can grow fungus. So it will happen. But Shiling, the family is like they have a father specialized in growing fruit trees, and then his brother and her, they are growing mainly vegetables, which is like even like can supply to chain restaurant. And then she and one sister is very good growing with the lotus flowers. So all of them, they have specialization in different things. But she started to grow quite a lot. But she's the one that started to perform Agnihotra in her farm, and even in her own house. You notice like her fruits, the little fruits like lime, all this started like blooming. That's why when the first thing that she introduced when she helped with her brother's farm was like performing Agnihotra. And then her dog that time was a bit sick, and then also then she like do one thing and then help both together, the plants and the animal. Anyway, animal is the next, our last series. We'll talk about animals. I believe in farm we have a lot of animals. Just like when Shiling is there, I think little dogs will come automatically look for her. So it's very weird. The moment you start performing Agnihotra, animals will come and look for you, dog, birds.
Yeah.
Can you say, Karen wants to say something about
the fungus, I wanted to say something. I had also some experiences from farmers who had fungus, who did Agnihotra and were spraying the ash. But I mean, the plants had the fungus, but the produce of the plants was not affected. This is also something we are just watching how it goes, because the plants, even they carried a fungus, it didn't affect the production. I don't know if that is clear. The fungus was, like I know from one person, the fungus was not cured, but even with the fungus, the production was not affected. The production was same good as from plants which didn't have fungus.
Okay.
We have one question because just now we shared that we can either do fresh ash directly on the soil. The other one was like mixing with the water. So there's another question is that is applying ash directly on the soil is more beneficial because it sounds like more concentrated maybe. That is a question to find out. Is there any difference? Maybe you can share with us, like, or like just now you highlight one key important point is that let's say I want to reach more surface area. That is the reason you give water, right? But it doesn't mean that if I want more nutrients, I want to help energize more. Does it make sense that if I don't mix anything, just the ash itself is more concentrated, it's more beneficial? Do you have this kind of ratio impact?
You want to say something? Yeah, I mean, I can't.
It's not an issue.
It's not really an issue. Yeah, it's not so important, not an issue. I mean, the thing is that if you have a large, I don't know how big a farm people have, but if you have a small garden, then you can make, quite big fires with Agnihotra and have a fair amount of ash. But if you have a big farm, you have to do a lot of very big Agnihotras all the time and have a lot of ash. And that might not be possible. So for practical purposes, if you have the ash and you can spread it on the ground, I'd say do that. But if not, then soak it in water and leave it in water and spray the water. And you're going to have the same result. Yeah.
So it's not a factor affecting the outcome. Okay, then, we have a lovely coriander. It's edible herb like coriander that are grown with ash. That is in Dr. Lennie, her own garden, Homa Garden, Medical Homa Garden. So she asked, what is your experience with the ash and animal feeding? Actually, that is our next series topic. But anyway, in a farm, we are interested to know, since we can, like our next series is next month. I mean, I'm not sure whether Dr. Abel is still there.
lower it down.
Animals.
Ash and the animal feeding.
Animals. We don't live. Our climate's very different to your climate, of course, in Malaysia. We don't have that humidity and the heat and the problems maybe that you have. More problems, I would think, maybe with animals, with infections and from insect bites and things like that.
Have you had any experience like biosol help with controlling those fungus?
Does biosol help?
Yeah, biosol helping with the fungus.
Can you see what's written down there?
Yeah, of course. Biosol is a wonderful fertilizer that is created in an anaerobic container with no oxygen in there, and it has cow dung, vermicompost, which is the compost that's been eaten through by worms, and what they leave behind is very, very highly nutritious. So all that mixed up with cow dung and in water with Agnihotra ash, and we also use a Sri Yantra in there, which has an energizing effect. And by using that biosol, you leave it in there for, let's say, 20 days to 30 days, depending on the weather and the temperature. It has to ferment. And by spraying that on the ground, or you can use it on different concentrations by spraying stronger concentrations on the soil to improve the bacterial, the microorganisms in the soil, or you can spray it on the plants more diluted, and you can spray it directly onto leaf of the plants, and that gives it a boost. And it's a fertilizer basically, and it can help with sicknesses. Like the Agnihotra ash solution that I told you about. So it has a big effect on plants, especially if you do it half an hour before or after sunrise or sunset. That's when the stigmata of the leaf of the plants are open. And if you can spray them at that time, then that nutrition goes into the plant.
Before and after sunrise, 30 minutes. And
Yeah.
Half an hour.
Yeah, half an hour. Yeah. Around there, you know, it can be 45 minutes, doesn't have to be so exact, but yeah.
Okay, it's a morning call and good night call. Okay, the VEDAS, they suggest a specific species of cow in the cow dung. In experience,
Is
the
it just a
species of
specific
cow
species
matter.
of cow in their dung? Is, in your experience, does the species of cow matter?
Yes, I want to say something about this. The species of cow does not matter if the if the cow is living in Homa atmosphere. These are the best cows. I know that today in India it's also a big hype about the desi cows which have a hump. But this is good. This is right. They are actually good cows. But Homa cows are above this. If you keep them in Homa atmosphere, this is best.
Yeah, we have here, for example, we had 4 cows. Now we have 3. One died here naturally because all our animals die naturally, and our cows, which 2 of them, or no, 3 of them, isn't it, are bulls?
2 are bulls, 1 is a cow.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, now before it was 3 bulls, and now 2 are left, and they're bulls, and they're very happy and very healthy and very loving cows, and they produce the best cow dung. And the cow dung we dry here for selling, not only for our own use, but for selling to other people in the cities and towns and what have you, who are performing Agnihotra and need cow dung. So if people have a farm in Malaya, it's definitely highly recommended that it's actually, I would think it would be a total necessity to have at least 1 cow, not just to produce cow dung for yourself, but for others as well.
But they're happy in 2s or more.
Yeah, and in the Homa atmosphere, these cows, yeah, in 2 or more. In Homa atmosphere, these cows are extremely happy. Doesn't matter what species they are.
Yeah. I would say, having a cow on a farm, whichever type of cow, is very special, because actually then you create a cycle where you are able to get your own manure. You're able to get your own cow dung to dry to do Agnihotra. You get the cow dung for the farm, fertilizer for the farm. And the cow also is said in Vedic, when the hoof of a cow leaves prana in the soil, and has a very good beneficial effect on the farm, on the land there. The breath of a cow is meant to be healing.
We asked Sri Vasant about the species of cows because of all the, the hype in India about having Desai cows and everything. And Sri said, if a cow is in home atmosphere, that's ideal, whatever cow it is. We have more mountain cows. Desai cows probably wouldn't survive very well in this atmosphere.
No, it'd be difficult.
What do you feed the cows? Somebody's asking.
The cows here, they're grass-fed. All the spring and summer and into early autumn, they're grass-fed. And then as winter comes, because nothing will grow, and we get down to -20 here degrees Celsius, average about -5. Yeah, so it's very, very different climate than to what you're used to probably there. So we feed them hay and some grains now and again. If a cow is pregnant, then we up their food for the winter time. Yeah.
Locally, they just eat local. I mean, local source. They eat raw food that whatever available in the farm. Is that true? Just get whatever we can get in the farm. Basically, the cow. Actually, in Malaysia, here we have few cow. We have some cows that farm. They keep the cows just to produce dung. We had that because they are producing the dung for some, like the Waldorf schools, where they use the dung to produce. We do have one, but they don't practice home agnihotra there. That is what I felt is a waste. And some farmer they do compost with the cow dung. they keep 3 cows, but they don't know Agnihotra. That is what I thought is a waste.
Is there any representatives from India here that would
Yeah.
like to share their farming experience?
Also, one difference between the biodynamic and the Homa farming is the use of ahimsa. We don't use any violence or any animal parts in our preparations. Whereas some Waldorf, or not Waldorf, but the Steiner biodynamic farming, there is some animal parts often used.
It's quite popular here. Biodynamic farming is quite popular.
Yeah, sometimes they use some things from deer parts and cow parts and things like that. So we don't. Yeah.
This is such a good explanation to differentiate, because a lot of people they don't know the difference between Homa farming and biodynamic. Because
Another question:
Homa farming,
if cows are not living in Homa atmosphere, is the dung from any type of cow, is it suitable for Agnihotra? I'm performing Agnihotra right now.
Organic cows.
Is a representative.
Cows. The last question. The question before that about representatives from India. Karen lived in India for a long time, so maybe she could answer that question. And the question after that from B. That's Barry Ratner, is it? Barry Ratner's asking this question: if cows not living in Homa atmosphere.
Maybe answer the first one first.
Maybe you could answer that first one about Indian representatives. Farming experience.
I worked all over India, and India is a very big country. So the person who has asked this question, I would like to ask which crops particularly you are interested. Like we had very good results with rice, with mangoes, and
Lennie.
wheat. Huh?
Lennie asked this question. Any representative from India that would like to share their farming experience?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the question she's answering now.
She lived many years in India and still goes regularly back and does work in India.
Yeah, Karen lived half your life in India.
Yeah.
But what does Selene? Is it Selene? What is she growing? Does she have a farm and is she growing something there?
No, I don't have a farm, but I've got a lot of. I get involved with a lot of farming thing for sustainability.
Yeah, my experience from the village people in India is that once you can tell them the benefits of Agnihotra, or they trust you, they are very enthusiastic, and we had very good results. For example, in mango, Abel was also there in this area with the mango farmers, and if, like my experience is, if one has a good result, the neighbor also wants to try. And so we had in the end about, I think, 35 or 36 mango farmers who were doing Agnihotra and Homa Therapy. One of them won the best #1 prize in mango cultivation, in everything like taste, texture, everything was best with the mangoes in Homa atmosphere. Even this, I don't know if you know, Reliance Company, they are it's a very big company in India. They have also mango farms. They were also interested in producing their mangoes with Homa Therapy, because we had like some the mangoes in Homa farms, they were not only coming out of the flowers, this is normally the case, but also from the stem of the mango trees. And one scientist told us that this normally happens only if you use very heavy chemicals. but in Homa Therapy, it happened naturally without doing anything except the fires and spraying Agnihotra ash water.
They're getting more than one harvest as well.
Yeah, they got 3 or 4 times more harvest than they had before with the chemicals.
Yeah, without artificial any chemicals, fertilizer.
Without chemicals.
Yeah,
yes.
Homa farming is completely without chemicals. It's not possible to do Homa farming with chemicals.
3 to 4 times more harvest, and that is the special
So
about
there's other size.
farming.
Yeah.
Amazing result.
Yeah.
We come back to one more question that just now, I think
Yeah,
Dr.
one more,
Lennie
that's
asked let's say how you use the ash on the animal, because in your farm there are a lot of animals, like for example here, like they shining shed, like a puppy came with maggots around the body. Can we just apply the ash? How you handle the animals in your farm? Because here we have a lot of
Yeah, I can only, actually, I don't have direct experience of maggots on the skin of cows and stuff, but I have read that in Peru they used ghee and ash on those sores where the insects had laid larvae, maggots. And the ghee helps because it starves the area from oxygen. And they start first with that, with ghee and ash mix, which is Agnihotra ash mixed with ghee. Yeah. And they put that on there. And then I think after a while, then they put direct ash onto that. So there was a 2-stage thing. There's the ghee and ash and then direct ash. But
So
we don't really have this problem with maggots here where we are.
You give them ash to eat.
I give them ash in the water that they drink. They drink that ash. Yeah. And of course, if they have a cut or a wound, then the ash is very, very beneficial with healing them.
just apply directly, right? Or let's say they have a cut wound on the animals there. Do you apply with ghee or just directly on that?
I put directly on it. I use Agnihotra ash powder, which has been powdered. It's been passed through a sieve, so all the hard bits that haven't burned maybe totally, or the rice doesn't pass through there. And that fine powder I put over the wound, over a cut if it's bleeding, if there's some kind of light infection.
Anybody else still have any questions? Great discussion tonight. Everybody questions are pouring out. What a great discussion today. Wow. Dr. Abel, I think it's turn for you.
Okay. This is so wonderful. All the experiences that have been shared by the Blue Guarania community is just wonderful. And I'm probably they're just telling you just a little bit of the so many, because for example, we happen to be here with them. And as we walk, we see apples on the ground, so much apples, so many apples. You won't believe it. The trees are full of apples. And it's just all organic. It's a quantity is so much. So everything grows in great deal. In relation to the animals, in Peru, they did some experiences in the university. And I think we'll talk about that in the next meeting. But this, I think maybe we should take benefit of the experience of Blue Guarania. And if you have more questions, you have the experts with us. You have Jarek, Parvati, Rory, and Karen. And many other volunteers that come over here also, they have learned a lot, but these are the key that can tell you a lot about Homa therapy in a community and agriculture, ecology, and so on. I do have a small video of Blue Guarania that we could play here if you want. A small, you can see 7 minutes. So it is up to you now. The next step. Today, We just are letting go for the divine to show up in this way. So I have, as I said, we have this video, or you have questions and they can be addressed directly by now. I know we're getting close to the final time, but this we'll have another meeting in the next 1 month. So, okay, this is Mrs. Hooi Lin, Mrs. Dr. Lennie. This is just amazing. You always organize it so well. If you see in the gallery, many of the people participant are people from Blue Guarania. They were also part of the audience today. And at the time, I hope when the time of pictures come, most people will come on the gallery, open the camera, and they will show up there. Okay. I think Parvati and Jarek, please, you can give your website so if they want more information, they can get that information there.
Yeah, we just put our website, agnihotra.pl. We just put that in the chat, and fundaciaterapiahoma.pl/en for English. That's the Homa Therapy Foundation website, and agnihotra.pl explains Agnihotra and also shows the Eco Village and films about the Eco Village. Do we have any other website?
We're also on Facebook as Eco Village Brugger Yajnya and also Agnihotra Polska.
Maybe Soo Indy can write it in.
Yeah, she can see better.
Yeah.
It's too tiny for me. I can't see. On Facebook, Eco Village Brugger Yajnya and Agnihotra Polska.
I don't know the website. You have to write it in yourself.
And we show a lot of what we do, a lot of videos and pictures on Facebook, especially. It's very popular in Europe.
Yeah, very beautiful. Very beautiful.
You can. Not yet.
What is it?
No, I was asking if we should give Ulrich's website for the experiment.
It's different. Therapy IE.
Yeah.
.de.
I just added a website, which is the website of Dr. Ulrich Berg, who's done a lot of scientific studies on the effects of ash and Agnihotra ash on soil, on plants, on the atmosphere, on water sources, rivers. And on his website, you'll find a lot of source material to read more about the scientific experiments that have been done on Agnihotra.
Works also with Indian scientists.
Yeah, and he works a lot with Indian scientists. He spends many months per year in India trying to set up experiments with universities and institutes.
And also the Australian Homa Therapy, Shridam. I don't know their website, but maybe Soo Indy does if she's here.
Or maybe Abel knows, or
in Australia.
Ellen Young is in touch with them.
Yeah, Leah and Fritz, they have a lot of experience in Homa farming and more your climate.
And they visited Malaysia a few times, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What?
Who's showing the video? Abel is. Now, where's Abel gone?
I'm here.
Today he very rarely our webinar. He is so free and he can be just listening. You are basically allow him to no need to explain so much because you already did a very good job. That's why. You want to show us a video, the 7 minutes video?
Okay, if you can do that, then I'll do that. That is coming. Just please share with me the co-hosting. So
yeah.
Okay, just put me over there and I'll show the video.
You are the coach.
Okay, 1 second.
We have appointments and we have to sign out.
Sure.
So
No problem.
This video is Eco Village, Homa Bruguarania Eco Village. That's the video.
Eco Village Bruguaranya, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, this is
Okay.
it.
Oh, you're
7
showing a
minutes.
video.
Yes, this is so you get an idea.
Here.
But it's okay.
Okay.
Oh, is that Ron? Is that Ray?
Rory,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Sorry, yes. This is starting. 7 minutes. Okay, let's.
Where it's been grown or how it's been grown. So if you imagine a conventional grown plant that's been grown with agrochemicals, that plant is, first of all, it's living in a lifeless soil after a few years. Yeah. It's got hardly any earthworms, any beneficial insects in there, and it's just trying to survive its conditions, its environment.
According to the ancient Vedas, plants require 75% of the atmosphere to survive. It's not enough that you're going to use the best methods like permaculture methods, biodynamic methods, to have brilliant soil. You have to have something to deal with the atmosphere and to heal the atmosphere, to nourish it, to energize it. And that's exactly what Agnihotra does and Homa Therapy farming does.
Agnihotra is a fire ceremony performed at sunrise and sunset, which originates from the most ancient body of knowledge known to man, the Vedas. Encoded in these ancient texts is a holistic blueprint for living in balance with planet Earth. The most essential element of the Vedas given for purification of the atmosphere is Yajnya, the science of bioenergetic healing through the agency of fire.
In the ancient times, people lived in harmony with nature, and they practiced these fires everywhere around the world. Of course, we have remnants of that today. In Machu Picchu, in Georgia, in the fire temples there, even the Hopi Indians up till today, the Aborigines practiced, fire rituals. Fire was very sacred. In the older times, of course, it was done to maintain harmony. Now, it's a dire need to return to that harmony, to bring it back.
Agnihotra is a fire which you perform exactly at the time of sunrise, sunset, in a small copper pyramid. And some medicinal substances are being burned in that copper pyramid. There's a description given in the Vedas, and it says that exactly at that time, a flood of energies comes from the sun to the place where the sun appears to rise. This flood of energies has a subtle music in it, and the quintessential sound is the vibration, the mantra, which we utter exactly at that time. Therefore, we have a resonance effect, and a channel is created through all the atmosphere, and an aura energy field is created around all plants nearby. So these plants get nutrition, they get strong, they get disease resistant, they don't need these chemical fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides.
The inner work that I do when I do Agnihotra is kind of like a side effect. I'm not just doing it to help myself, I'm doing it to help everybody else around me and everything else around me.
We've had a biologist here, and he was shocked. He did experiments with tadpoles, and he found frogs here that are endangered, that don't even exist in the region, and magically appeared only on our farm. And he did experiments with tadpoles and ash, and water that should be stagnant where these animals should be dying. The water was totally purified using the ash from Agnihotra, and the percentage of tadpoles, as far as like the eggs and how many germinated, was incredible.
We did some experiment in Kiev, in Ukraine. In Kiev, they had some radioactive rice from Fukushima. And normally with radioactivity, you can't do anything. You can just put it there, store it away, and wait. What they did is they took this radioactive rice, put it in water, added Agnihotra ash, and measured. And within 1 week or so, the whole radioactivity was neutralized. And that is really, really astonishing, because that normally should not happen.
What we've done here, the example that we've created here, is that we've transformed a place that was not able to grow practically anything except, say, what the local farmers grow, which is just food for their animals. We're able to grow anything and everything, from cocktail tomatoes to all kinds of herbs to all kinds of greens, from broccoli to you name it.
Bees are fascinating, and we really see what they do
in nature here, because we have an orchard here, a fruit orchard here. Since the bees have been here, you can see how much they pollinate the whole orchard, and it's an amazing amount of fruit that we have now. The value that they have in the world nowadays as pollinators is very well, and I can see the evidence of it now. And there's a problem now around the world where lots of bees are now dying in huge quantities, in huge numbers, and mainly because of probably agrochemicals, GM crops, wireless communication, mobile phones. They're becoming disorientated, they're becoming weaker. Whereas here in this Homa atmosphere that we've created, the bees are really, really thriving and very, very healthy. We have now 13 families altogether. We started off with 3. So slowly we've been increasing every year, and they're a very valued part of our community here.
Being a parent in a Homa community, people would always talk to me and say, what are you doing that's so different from what I'm doing? And I think that Agnihotra gives an environment of peace. It affects you through and through.
So many people have come here for the first time, and they come into this atmosphere and they're like, this is like a different country. It's like an oasis. It's like an island. You step off the road and you immerse yourself into a completely different atmosphere. And that's created through the powers of Agnihotra and Homa Therapy.
If you wish to, you can use the energy of, that's created in the atmosphere by doing these fires. You can use that energy to work on yourself and to help yourself become a better person, become a better member of the whole planet.
I think being spiritual for me is a commitment to being kind, a commitment to being loving, a commitment to walking in harmony on the earth, a commitment to working with each other and working through our issues with honesty and integrity. I think it's the love with which you grow your gardens. I think it makes me want to cry because it's such a wonderful thing.
This type of community that we're setting up here, to me, it's like a vision of the future. People will have to build communities from an inner sense of awareness.
We're not doing this alone. This is the way nature wants it to be. This is the way the divine wants us to be. If you look, you can see the visible, the invisible, the audible, the silent, all moving as one force, one energy, one wave of light and sound, one dance.
Okay. So they said one picture is 1,000 words. I think with this video, that confirm everything you heard from our brothers and sisters here in Bulgaria. I'd like to thank again to Dr. Lennie and Mrs. Hooi and Alan John, his dear brother, is always in the background helping, and everybody. I know Chris is somewhere in the back also. All the members, thanks again. I-Inspire, you inspire everyone with your service all the time. So I don't want to take more of your time. It has been a little great event. I let Dr. Lennie to do the closing. Thank you very much. All love, and we'll see you soon.
Well, I want to wish everybody who is here, I hope you enjoyed the discussion today. And today is a very special day. It's Mooncake Festival. So wishing everybody Mooncake Festival, which is a very Chinese festival, but, we celebrate it here. So the secret of the mooncake, every mooncake has a secret in it. So every Agni fire has a secret in it, and let us share this fire around the world. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Hope you'll come back next time.
Everybody don't go yet because I have some little announcement. We'll take a group photo and only then we say goodbye. Okay, can you give me just
Okay.
minutes.
Please open your camera.
Yeah,
Open
yeah.
your cameras.
Yeah. Everybody turn on your camera. I just make few simple announcement, and then we take a group camera just to record that we have celebrated Mooncake Festival together. Actually, in Chinese, it means that mooncake always in round. So it's like we are gathered, being gathered together. Okay, thank you very much for quite active, very active Q&A today. Very, I think most of the questions all being answered already. And then the next one, just I would like to share with everybody because it's coming is a public holiday in Malaysia. It's a Malaysia Day. 16 is a Malaysia Day. It's like the Malaysian Independence Day. That's why a lot of people are going away. That is the reason why this Sunday we will do on our own, and then we will connect to Google Meet for our group Agnihotra. So we will still meet, but we meet online. Okay. So we will share everything out in our Facebook, and if you would like to connect with us, your fire or so online, please just click the link that we are sharing in our Facebook. Okay. So and the next one, very fast. It's already 18 series. When we started Dr. Abel, we thought that don't be too long, and it somehow is at 1.5 years. It's already quite a long series. Somehow next month is our last series already. We talk about our human diseases from physical to mental, and then today we talk about our surrounding, our plants, and then the next one we are going to talk about our animals. Although just now we talked a little bit already, so next month we are going to talk about our fur kids as well. Many people actually during MCO time, many people get pets as a accompaniment and all this, but if we actually put them aside, and actually some of them have issues. So let's talk about our another co-living partner on the earth also next month. Okay, same thing, second Friday of the month. We need to see everybody again. Whether you have pets or don't have pets, or it's okay, because we can help to share the knowledge to everybody. So this is you can screenshot this. If you have any questions, anything that you'd like us to highlight during our webinar, or you want us to have to ask anybody, ask Dr. Soo, please just drop us a message or like this. And thank you everybody. Now please turn on your camera. We're going to take photo. Yes, Lord.
Dempen opheffen.
Nee.
Hier, ik sta hier dempen.
Thank you. All love to everyone.
Have a good trip, Dr. Abel, in your Europe trip. Have a good trip. Stay safe.
The next one will be from India.